Well, that was overly dramatic. Hey, how's it going? This is Rory from RateMyFuneral.com. That was Rate, by the way. Seems as I enjoyed doing that short little tutorial tip. No, it was just a tip last time. I thought I'd do another one, just because these are fun. Rather than spending hours and hours doing something crazy, let's just do something silly that's short. So that's why I came up with this thing. And oh my god, this is so incredibly easy to do. You know, this is you can literally do this if you've never even used Cinema before. It's so simple, but it's fun and it uses dynamics and connectors and stuff. So yeah, anyway, so perpetual motion machine, I'm gonna call it. Technically, yes, perpetual motion can't really exist because of the fact that energy uses friction will cause energy to deplete trying to run itself thing. So unless it's generating energy, which it can't actually do because you can't create energy. I'm not going to get into all of that sort of stuff. But anyway, this thing, right? Let's make it. That's probably the best approach. We'll start off with creating a cylinder. There we go. I'm just going to change my display to Gurad shading with lines. That way I can see what I'm doing a little better. Now these are going to make up our kind of support struts. So a nice easy way of doing this, we create one cylinder, we put it into a symmetry object like so, and we press R for rotate and maybe just turn it 30 degrees. And now I want to move it across on this direction. Obviously, if I just do that, it's going to go upwards. Yeah, that works as well, but if you don't want to, if you want to go sideways, you can go to global position, click this button up here, and you can do that. Now I can see that my angle was possibly a little too far, so I'm going to, holding down shift, by the way, that moves it in increments, in case you hadn't discovered that one yet. And then back to our first one. Doesn't matter what these are doing up the top there, because I'm just going to plop a little cylinder in up there, so we'll do that now. Create another cylinder, change its plane to Z+, and we'll just move that up there. Press T to get the scale, and we'll shrink that right down. S to zoom in on it and see what we're doing. And let's make that a touch wider. Move it up, maybe go in here, radius. There we go. It's only a little nubbin at the top there. It gives us our pivot point. Okay, let's create the base. Create a cube, shrink it down, move it out a bit. That's fine like that. And let's move that to the like so. Cool. And we'll go into our cube, turn on fillet, and set that to 1, 2. Yeah, give it a nice rounded edge. Keep it on 5. That's fine. And do the same for our cylinder at the top there. You won't see these, but we'll just put a 1 centimeter fillet on there just to give that fillet, I don't know, just to give that a nicer edge. Okay, next we need another cylinder. I'm just going to grab this one, hold control and click and drag. That gives me a new cylinder, and I need to zero all of this out. So if you don't have this, do it. It's brilliant. All right, customize palettes, PSR, and stick that little button up there. That zeroes out all your coinkydinks, and that way we can just move that forward a bit and move that up. Something like that. Cool beans. Let's go for the higher end up. No, let's go for that. Like that. There we go. Cool. Okay, that's fine. Maybe just a little bit more, and make it just a touch longer. There's no exact science. Well, there probably is an exact science to this actually, but I certainly don't know it. I'm not that smart. I'm doing it by guesswork and just seeing what kind of has an effect. So let's create another cylinder, and we're going to rotate it so it's 90 degrees and move that one forward, and just shrink that in a bit. On some of the ones I saw, this wasn't sitting centrally, it was kind of over to one side. The one I did in the video at the start, I did centrally, and that seemed to work quite well, so it's kind of, I don't know, just sort of see what happens. So, right, next. We've built the structure. Cool. There's the basic structure. We now need to give it some physics. So we'll make the the cylinder that it's going to pivot from, we're going to give that a simulation tag collider body. These two will give those simulation tags rigid body. And then now, if you press go, they'll just fall to the floor forever. It's not what we need to happen. We need to use some connectors. That's the one. So first of all, we need a connector for this one here. So we go up to Simulate, Dynamics, and Connector. Simplest way to do this is just plop that inside our cylinder and hit our PSR button. And that puts that there. So we'll just take that back out again. When you get to this sort of thing, it's a good idea to name things. So we'll say that's the front bar. We'll say that's the middle bar. Say that's the legs. And that's our joint. And that's our base. Okay, so our connector sits, wants to sit a bit forward a little bit. So let's just zoom in there and position that how it kind of makes sense. Cool, yes, that's fine. So that's the one connector. And we want another one. So we'll just make a copy of that. And we'll drag that up until it's about in the right place. Something like that. Excellent. Okay. Right. So we've got our two connectors in place. Let's just put things in order. So we're going to say the base is at the bottom, then the legs, then is our joint, then is our first connector, then the front bar, then the middle bar, then our next connector, and then the front bar. There we go. So now everything's in order. So we just need to connect these up. So first connector, we want to connect the joint and the middle bar. The second connector, we want to connect the middle bar and the front bar. Cool. Now, if we just hit play, kind of doesn't do too much. This is, now I remember, this is why I did it centrally in my one, so that I could be the one that kicks it off. So 700, let's give us some more frames to play with here. Because yeah, I think something might happen eventually, but here's a little trick that I used, was the front bar, go into the dynamics and set the mass to custom mass, and about 10 will probably do. I'll make that just that little bit heavier, and that'll start swinging around. So there's a little problem there. I don't know if you spotted that. You can see it's twisting. See, we don't want that. That's no good at all. So in order to fix this, we press Control D, go into Dynamics, go to Expert, and let's just ramp all of this up. This is very simple, so we can put this up to sort of 100 in each. And then that way it'll do a lot more calculations to work out what the dynamics should be doing. You see, so that's working a lot better. Cool. So like I say, the way I did it in the video was I did this centrally, and that way it's sat like that at the start, and then I've dropped the brick on it to set it going. But obviously if you put it offset, then it will automatically start just because of the weight. So that'll just set going. So depending on what you want to do there. So that's good. Also a really good idea with this is to go in and just cache and bake your simulation under the cache tab there. And then now you can kind of see all the way to the end of your animation what's happening here, and it won't change. You can render that out as many times as you want, and so on and so forth. It'll always be the same. So that's that bit. So next, let's just light it and texture it. So naturally, quick way to light stuff in video. If you don't have it, it doesn't, then don't panic. You can just light it yourself, or treat yourself to it, whatever. Just makes life a hell of a lot easier. So there's our floor done, and I went for a kind of a mustardy, kind of yellowy colour for a bit of a change from the old clean white. Let's make that a bit. Let's make that a bit darker. Something like that. There we go. Marvelous. Okay, let's turn on ambient occlusion. I like that. That just gives us some nice little shadows around the edges and stuff, so you get these. So that's cool. We need to create a reflective chrome. So let's just do, for now, maybe pull the mix strength back a little bit, something like that. It's pretty nifty. Turn specular off, don't really want that on there. So I'll put that on the front bar, middle bar, joint, and the legs. And then the base, just something like a black, just off black, slightly reflective, maybe a little Fresnel, just a touch on there, and just turn that specular down a bit and plop that on the base. Cool. And we can just go in here and anti-aliasing, put that to best. Here we go. Obviously that will slow down your rendering. I used the physical renderer for my version, so we just go physical, go into here, perhaps go adaptive, medium settings, something like that. That's not too bad. It gives it a nice look. What else can we do? Oh yes, I did the camera movement. So let's add a camera in. Let's make sure our output is set to video. Let's do it at 720, 25 frames a second. It's a good idea to press Ctrl D, go into your project settings and match that FPS. So we'll make that 25 frames per second in there as well. For our camera, I added a little bit of shake to it, so let's put the camera inside of a null. Hold down Alt, select null, and then on the camera, right click, motion camera tags, and motion camera. That'll automatically jump up a bit, so just grab the height and just pull that down, something like that. And I went into motion, and I just put a little bit on each one, and then that gives you just a little bit of motion there. That's cool, right? And I just did a camera move, so you can just animate a camera move easily enough. So just go to, say, rig, and maybe we can go to frame 1. Start it off over here, something like that. Just hit Control and click on the little dots to make a keyframe. Go to the end and find yourself another position, perhaps down a little bit. Put the head up, over to the side there a little bit, zoomed in, I don't know, zoomed out, there we go, and just put a keyframe on there. There we go. And then over the period of your animation, that will be moving and you'll get a little bit of wibble. But there you go, you've made, really quickly, really easily, a fully dynamic little perpetual motion device thing. So, I don't know, bit of fun. Do something with it if you want. One thing I did forget to do, this is only a really silly little thing, is on these two bars I forgot to turn on the fillet cap. Something like 2, just because I don't like seeing those super harsh edges. So that will just give a little bit of an lip to it. Right, there you go. So a nice quick one. Sub 15 minutes or so that's not too bad. Cool, okay, well, have fun with that, and I shall see you next time.